What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market. Jerome Powell is still giving his speech as I speak. Not to mention some very, very important news about Tesla, as Elon Musk is saying some very, very big things. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. We deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, and the offer ends in just about 3 weeks from now. Anyways, for Tesla, I just wanted to mention that for now, Tesla is still kind of range bound. We managed to push all the way up to this 265 area, and then after coming back down from there, we actually ended up seeing support around this 260 zone. Tesla ended up not holding that completely. We came down to our next level at 258, and since then, Tesla's been completely range bound. This is something that I essentially warned you guys about for Tesla. I said that if we couldn't break 265, we'll be range bound. If we did break through it, we'd push higher. As of right now, Tesla's trading within a range, but there is some signals out there that suggest that Tesla could show a little bit of weakness just temporarily before we see the next leg up higher later on. So I want to give you guys more information about this. First, let's talk about Jerome Powell. So the guy is still giving his testimony, and I find the whole thing to be a mess. I mean, the whole time just hearing politics, 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 all these politicians saying what they have to say, being very, very biased, and it's very, very annoying to just hear things like that. But what's interesting is Jerome Powell didn't really say anything too significant. I'm not really seeing anything too crazy quite yet. He's just repeating the same things over and over again. And as a result, the market is still holding up better. It could be holding up because it's not really as worried about him yet, unless he says something crazy, which I highly doubt. Just like yesterday, Jerome Powell said that he doesn't want to say anything too significant about the future of monetary policy. So it seems like he's doing the same thing right now. He's currently testifying before the House Financial Services panel, so it's not really leading to anything too crazy. But I want to focus on something else as well. Goldman Sachs has raised their price target for Tesla, but they still see some downside that's coming up. So they're now giving us a cautious stance, at least for Tesla. And they're saying that they've increased their price target to $248 a share from a previous $175. This is reflecting some potential downside of about 5% from the current trading levels. They're implying there might be a little pullback coming to Tesla. And I think that's actually very possible because Tesla has pumped like crazy. Keep in mind that this thing was actually in the like 180s just a little bit over a week and a half ago. Less than 2 weeks ago, Tesla was in the 180s. We're now in the 260s. So if it were to pull back a bit, that would be completely healthy. Considering that SPY is a little bit in the green, not to mention the QQQ approaching the 500 resistance. Tesla's a little bit in the red, so it's showing a little bit of weakness here. It hit such high levels to the point where it's kind of consolidating now, and that's completely normal. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I also want to talk about Elon Musk. He's been saying some very important things, at least for Tesla's future. So basically, someone mentioned that China will be the first nation with 100 million, if not 1 billion robots, not in anyone's forecasts. So we will see how things go for the future involving this. But Musk did make a very important comment about this. He said that the future will have far more robots than people. He thinks that that's going to be happening very, very soon. And that is very understandable and very, very possible, of course. I think it's very probable as well that there's going to be a lot of humanoid robots in the future. In my opinion, you could also look at this as a bullish catalyst for Tesla because Musk has said that that's going to make up a large majority of Tesla's revenue in the future. So Musk is still holding the same views and he's still talking about this. So I just want to call that out. On top of this, Elon Musk is also talking about the next FSD update. So basically, whole Mars catalog has come out there saying that FSD 12.4.3 is still ping ponging basically within the lane of too much on the highways. So that's something that's worth noting. Uh, I wanted to mention that Musk is saying that 12.5.x. We don't know which one specifically, but very soon the 12.5 version is going to combine the city and highway software stacks, and that's going to be a very, very nice upgrade. This is going to help them in a lot of different situations, especially when it comes to changing lanes, ping ponging, and fixes like that. So that's going to be very important. I can't wait to see what ends up coming with the next FSD update. It's going to be very, very important. On top of this, Elon Musk mentioned this. He mentioned that people should feel very proud if they've done something that's useful to their fellow human beings. And he's constantly reminding us of the purpose of Tesla and why it's going to be very useful for humanity. Yes, I know that Teslas are not the cleanest of vehicles, right? You have to consider that there is carbon that's being released, not to mention a lot of fossil fuels are being burnt just to produce each Tesla. But what's great about Tesla is the fact that firstly, it is putting us through a better path to kind of get away from fossil fuels. You could say whatever you want about that, but you can't deny the fact that there is a limits to how many fossil fuels there are on the planet, and it is great to have alternatives out there. So Teslas could help us transition, at least into extremely clean energy. And if you drive your Tesla a particular amount of miles, they will become net neutral when it comes to carbon emissions. Well, like I said before, it's not my job to kind of like put anything into your guys' brains to force you into believing anything. You're free to believe whatever you want, and I will respect that. I just want to say that the data does suggest that Tesla is putting us in the right path. And I want to give credit to the entire Tesla team for what they're doing for humanity, because this is leading to a big revolution where, cars are completely changing, robots are being developed at faster rates, and we're going to see new and new developments with these new computers. Musk has also talked about how there have been 2,000 charging stalls in Norway, continuing to grow all over the world, especially in Europe. This is great news for Tesla. With that being said, let's talk about the share price. What do I think is going to happen from here? So, looking at Tesla, it's actually underperforming relative to SPY. We have resistance very close to our 20 EMA on the 30 minutes time frame. Notice that Tesla kind of like rejected off there just a bit, and it's kind of struggling to really hold well above that. And we also happen to have our support around the 260 area. That's going to be our 50 EMA, not to mention 258. Those are going to be two supports to be watching for 258 and 260. So we'll be watching to see how things end up developing right here. If we break through this EMA, I'll be looking for basically a retest of the highs at 265. But as you guys can see, Tesla's a little bit lackluster compared to SPY. If anything, it's more like we're completely just range bound, going back and forth and back and forth. We kind of like pumped, tips back down, and we're kind of rebounding. This possibly push back up towards the highs, but like I said before, resistance is getting tougher in Tesla may range trade. Despite that, we'll see what the big move is after CPI and such. With Jerome Powell speaking, the market's starting to pump. But like I said before, I haven't heard him say anything too significant or too crazy. We're going to be looking at 558 on SPY. It's going to be our next potential target. If this breaks, I think we're easily going to get closer to 560. If you were to reject you, I'll be looking at 557.25 followed by 556.6. That's going to be another, another very important level. As of right now, SPY looks very bullish, trying to push up higher to try to break 558. So it's favoring upside. Nvidia is the same thing, is trying to push for about 135, looking more bullish, favoring the upside as well. This is largely due to the technicals we were seeing. So look for 135 to be tested and see if you reject or not. Bitcoin is just kind of struggling to hold 58,000. I'd like to see Bitcoin hold that. We have a nice accumulation structure off this double bottom, but I want to see if Bitcoin could hold 58,000 or not. Still looks bullish, but we'll have to see how things go. For the QQQ, we're pushing towards the 500 price target, looking more bullish overall. We'll see if we can try to break 500 or not. But like I said before, it's still favoring upside a little bit more. We'll see how it reacts to 500. Apple is breaking above 230 exactly as predicted. Our next target is going to be very close to about 232. So look at that target as going to be one of our highs. In my opinion, we look a little bit more bullish, so we'll have to see how things go from here. But overall, there could be a nice uptrend, especially on the 30 minutes time frame. There's going to be a good chance of us pushing even higher as Apple's looking more bullish. For the super micro stock, we're actually trying to rebound right here, trying to break out towards the 920 plus area. So I do favor upside a bit more on super micro. For Coinbase, we're just trading sideways, like I said earlier, between 218 and 222. We actually dipped a little bit lower to about 260, so that's the next leg down. But overall, we're just range bound. Look for a little retest of about 220 very soon, then more and more sideways price action. It's not really doing a whole lot. For Amazon, we were attempting to break out. We failed to break this 200 area. We kind of rejected right here. We had 197.5 as support, and we have resistance currently closer to 200. We might just trade sideways between 197.5 and 200 for the time being. Look for a little rebound attempt back up to 199, and overall, I still see some shuffling that's happening. For Meta is trying to push back up towards 535, so I'm seeing some more upside potential. And then I think that this may shuffle a bit, but overall, it's looking pretty decent. I think it might push a bit. It might push a bit before we continue to consolidate. Microsoft has support around 460 and resistance at 462. I think we're just going to trade sideways at least for the time being, so I'm not really expecting much from this. Google's also trying to rebound, holding above its 20 EMA. If we push a little bit higher, we could be looking for 192. I think it's just going to also consolidate, kind of boring. But that's all I'm seeing for now. GameStop is trying to break out a little bit better than before, breaking above 25, looking pretty good. Let's see how it ends up reacting to where these wicks happen to be at 26.5. And then for AMC, we're trying to break out a little bit higher towards 5.5. We're also consolidating, but I do see a little bit more upside potential for 5.7. So I'm seeing some upside potential at least for these different stocks. SPY is favoring bulls. Tesla is just kind of range bound. So keep that in the back of your mind. Do not forget that Goldman Sachs is saying that Tesla may tip just a little bit, all the way back into 248. Just for now. But despite that potentially happening, Tesla's going to be fine for the long term. It's going to make a big rebound. So keep that in the back of your mind. For right now, we're just kind of range bound. That's all I'm seeing for the time being for Tesla. It could try to push a little bit higher, get closer to where the highs were. But like I said before, I do anticipate range bound price action to be the norm for Tesla. With that being said, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys in a few hours and peace out.